we're going to end up in court. And I think we have a very compelling case in court to be able to win. It's just very frustrating and very disappointing that we're going to have to spend taxpayer dollars in court to get information that we shouldn't have any trouble in the world getting from our government.
And that was House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer on Sunday Morning Futures with me earlier this month, explaining what he'll do if the FBI does not comply with his subpoena. That subpoena to receive the document that the FBI has. Today is the deadline for the FBI Director Christopher Wray to turn over that document that Republicans say links President Biden to a $5 million bribery scheme with a foreign national. In a letter Wednesday, Comer writes, quote, "Your response to the subpoena is due May 30th. If the form is not produced by that date, the committee will initiate contempt of Congress proceedings." Wray and Comer set to speak by phone tomorrow, but the chairman says that their meeting will not impact today's deadline. In their own statement last week, the FBI defended withholding the document, saying, quote, "Releasing confidential source information could potentially jeopardize investigations and put lives at risk." Liz Peek with me this morning. Liz, your reaction.
Maria, this is just one more reason that most Americans, the majority of Americans, no longer trust the FBI. They consider it really an arm of the White House. We've seen a weaponization of our law enforcement agencies, including the FBI. I think this is a travesty. And by the way, it is not just Comer who's pursuing this. It's also Chuck Grassley, who I think a lot of people have respect for. We also have respect for Comer. But I mean, this is an outrage against the American people. And it's only one of many where the FBI has basically shrugged off its responsibility to pursue an unbiased law enforcement agenda. I think it's shocking, and I hope they bring in Wray. I hope they do start contempt proceedings against him. He deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, so do I, Greg, because people are sick and tired of this behavior from the FBI, interfering in elections, pursuing lies. We saw it with the Russia collusion story. We saw it with the Hunter Biden laptop. We saw it over and over again, the Twitter files, 1,000 people in government with their own agendas telling Twitter to suppress truth and amplify lies. Enough.
So you're right, Maria. I mean, this continues to be a very big battle here. And, you know, certain things are just very straightforward. You have a subpoena here. Congress is entitled to the documentation, yet the FBI is trying to withhold that information. So no one is above the law here. And at the end of the day, when you listen to Chairman Comer talk about the American people potentially having to fund an appearance in court, it's really despicable at the end of the day. We shouldn't be spending more taxpayer money on things and procedures that are very, very straightforward.
Yeah, and you know what's amazing to me, Liz, is that these are the most serious allegations against a sitting president ever. I don't think we've ever had such allegations of influence peddling, bank records indicating the Biden family accepted money from China, our number one adversary, and the mainstream media will not cover it.
Yeah, isn't that just appalling? And by the way, this accusation and this whistleblower, I believe, goes back to before the election. So it's yet another accusation that could have derailed Joe Biden's election. But what we know is not only mainstream media, obviously, but also our law enforcement agencies were working to elect Joe Biden. I mean, you have to kind of step back and say, this is Banana Republic stuff, Maria. This is not what is supposed to happen in the United States. We know this document exists. They know it exists. So all this stuff about how it could upset an ongoing investigation. What ongoing investigation? That's what we hear about the looking into Hunter Biden's laptop. Ongoing investigation for 5 years?
Unbelievable.